So, about a month ago, we came across a Facebook profile that intrigued us. It is a father daughter team that runs a honeybee apiary right here on the Gulf Coast.
Guess I'm the queen bee of Honey of the Hill apiaries.
I call myself the CEO of Honey of the Hill Apiaries, but my real title is professor at Spring Hill College. I teach biology.
So, we packed up our bags and we flew on over to Mobile, Alabama, to a hilltop just on the southern side of Mobile Botanical Gardens. And that's where we met up with Veronica and Don Culberson. They are the father-daughter team that run Honey of the Hill Apiary.
So the top box is where they store the honey, and the bottom box is where the queen rears the babies and all the nurse bees take care of them. My name is Veronica from Honey of the Hill Apiaries. I have something you need to hear. This is my show and tell. Okay, there's the queen running around, trying to get away from me. There she is. Oh, back to the other side. She wants to be wherever I am not. So we keep notes, because by the time you go through half of them, you've forgotten what was going on in the first half. I guess about 20 years ago, started with some backyard gardening stuff to show our children, where food comes from. We suffered poor pollination problems with some of our fruits and vegetables. So we got into beekeeping with the honeybees, thinking that would be the solution, and it turns out that they're not interested in small bounties. They want the big bounties. They overlook your little backyard garden in favor of the park with the acres and acres of clover, or the forest that's got all the tulip poplars blooming at once. The honeybees and some of the larger bees can travel miles to look for food. That experience with beekeeping didn't solve our pollination problem, which led to more questions of what pollinators handle the backyard garden. And it's all the little things, all the little insects in your yard that don't go far, that are stuck in your yard, essentially. Your little wasps and your little flies and the native bees, the little tiny ones that nest in the ground, they pretty much stay in your yard and your neighbors' yards, and that's all of the exposure they get. The most important thing you can do for the native pollinators is leave native habitat. And allow native plants to grow. They are what feeds the pollinators that then also work to feed us by visiting our vegetable gardens. If you have a certain grassy area that you want to keep a nice little lawn, that's fine. But if you can leave the perimeters habitat for our native insects, most of them nest in the leaf litter. Then all the moths and the butterflies and things lay their eggs in the leaf litter, and if we rake those leaves up and take them away, then you're sending all your pollinators away. If you burn them, you're burning all your pollinators up. So this is a frame of bees out of the beehive. Once you learn what the bees need and facilitate that, they take off. They breed like crazy. And then here towards the middle, there is brood and larva. The white things are the larvae, those are the young babies. By the time we realized that honeybees were not the solution to our backyard gardening issues, we were fully involved in beekeeping at that point. That's where the apiaries comes into it. So apiary is a bee farm. We're bee farmers. We're more facilities manager. We make sure they have a clean, safe home to live in, and they do everything else. And once those larvae fill the capacity of that cell, they get capped off and spin a little cocoon in there and go through metamorphosis. And about a week later, they emerge as adult bees.
Throughout the course of their day, Veronica and Don produce massive amounts of honey, about 1,200 pounds so far this year. You can see the honey on the left has a lighter shade. That honey is a spring honey, and that particular honey is mixed with a little bit of pepper flakes to give it a spicy honey flavor. The two containers in the middle are their fall honey. You can see it's darker, deep flavored, more robust. And then on the far right you have my favorite, a garlic infused honey. It is divine. If you'd like to contact Honey of the Hill Apiaries, whether it's for community outreach, a tour of the facilities, or to purchase honey, there are a couple ways you can do it: the website, the phone number, or their email address. And be sure to check out our next episode with Honey of the Hill apiaries when we talk with Don Culberson about the dangers of losing our insect population.
I wish you hadn't asked me that. The loss of the bees is a terribly scary process, what's often referred to as the insect Armageddon.
And talk with Veronica about their outreach program to schools, civic organizations, scout troops, etc. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Until then, have a beautiful day.